The alternative to this would be 90 degrees rotation with your trigger, let go, and use the front side nose slide input. That way, we have the front foot leading the nose down first. So I recently made a video about 5 ways to steeze out your tricks on Flatground. What I mean was 5 ways to change your animations during gameplay so that the same trick will look quite different in different situations, right? Anyways, the truth about that video is that video contained this video. What I mean by that is I recorded the explanation for each of the 5 ways and examples of those 5 ways all in one sitting. But man, that whole thing was way too long, alright? So I'm trying to cut down on video length, so I separated into 2 parts. Now, I've included the summary of that first video right after this intro so that the examples themselves can make a little bit more sense in light of the explanations. But feel free to watch the first video and then come back to this one, because honestly it's all made to be viewed together. I'm still kind of figuring out how to be more concise, but what are you gonna do? You know, at the end of the day, I love this game and I love skating and I love filming, and it's all just one big passion for me, and I could just go on and on about it, and I'm kind of trying not to, but at the same time that's the whole point of this channel, so you get it. I'm working on figuring it all out. Anyways, here's that summary, followed by the examples themselves right after. Patience for your practice, peeps. See ya. So the very first one, I set all my stats to absolute neutral default. When I did the trick, I used the trigger for the rotation and let go of it mid-trick so that we stop the rotation in the air. The next one, I set my rotation rate to absolute 0, and I held the rotation trigger the entire time without letting it go. The next one is one that I believe is a little less well known. Mind you, I have about 3 or 4 ticks of rotation rate at this point out of like 20. And I press the rotation trigger all the way in, fully let go midway, and then fully press it again. And what that does is we catch the trick, shoulders stay 90 degrees, but the feet finish the rotation. The next one is a little bit similar, where we start 90 degrees, we let go of the rotation trigger, and we use the backside board slide input to finish the rotation. The main difference here is the fact that we use both feet to catch the board, and if we compare it to the third one, you can see that we're catching it with only 1 foot. And the last one is going to be just a late revert, alright? So 90 degrees, revert to end. Let's just compare it to number 4, where it's basically catching with 2 feet and finishing the rotation. Number 4 is the same thing, catch with 2 feet, finish the rotation. It's just one happens mid-air, the other one happens on flat. That's the 5 ones. So let's load in some replays. Let's take a look at some examples. The first one that I want to get out of the way is a tray flip revert. Now when I said that I don't experiment enough with the late revert and I don't prefer it, that doesn't mean I don't use it, alright? I think it's the only way that a tray flip late revert should be done, is with an actual revert on the ground, alright? This looks absolutely sick when you focus on the footwork, alright? And when you manage to get the camera to ignore or not show the jank of the animation, because let me tell you, it's there, alright? Let's get back to orbit view and just take a look at this guy's head, alright? It's moving around as if he realized he doesn't have his keys in his pockets where they should be. Look at that. It just looks crazy, but when you don't film the head, you just film the feet, it looks good, alright? So late revert, useful in certain situations. Frontside 360. Now, I prepared this one specifically to be done over a gap. Just a regular old full 360, having the trigger fully pressed the entire time. Now I want to cover something very specific. We're doing this over stairs so we can have enough time to see the particular animation that I don't like and that I see very often online. Is this. Look at his head. Again, always with the head. This right here. This head swing in a frontside 360 has no business being there, alright? When you see this, now you're looking at a video game. You know you're looking at a video game, alright? Even when you film it, I'm gonna try to film it free cam just to pretend that we're filming. You can see it so much. Look at that. Whoosh. It just swings at a velocity that would give anybody a concussion. So, to get rid of that, let's go on to Exhibit B. Press the rotation trigger all the way up until 270 degrees. Let go just before the head starts breaking the space-time continuum with its velocity, and repress immediately. Now we have that posture I was telling you about, where the shoulders are 270 degrees in, but the feet finish the rotation. Now we got ourselves a much more realistic, true to real life 360. Alright, let's see, even from a lower angle from the camera, it looks much better. Look, free cam, full speed, it just looks better, especially this last moment of using the feet to finish the rotation. This is perfect. You see this everywhere. It's a normal thing to do. And we have the arms swinging around to compensate for the lack of rotation. This is a normal human thing to do, alright? So we want that. Plus, as an added bonus, we get the dab landing. So, full press 270 degrees, repress the next 90. On to the next one. Let's take a look at some frontside flips. Here, actually, let's take a look at them from the front. Frontside flips, you really see the detail from the front. So, this is a regular one, a full press the whole time, a little bit lower rotation rate, but just pressing the rotation trigger the whole time, alright? Finish the rotation and land clean. This is not a bad animation at all per se. We got a little bit of upper body jank upon the landing, but nothing to complain to HR about, alright? So, the alternative to this would be 90 degrees rotation with your trigger, let go, and use the frontside nose slide input. That way, we have the front foot leading the nose down first. Now, I've seen people in real life do this all the time. And overall, I'll just say that it's definitely one of the ways to ever do a frontside flip, alright? Now let us be respectful, obsessive people, and let us also note that we still have to deal with this head jank, alright? Making us look like there's a bit of a need for an exorcism around these parts. But you can definitely work your way around that with the camera because the footwork is looking pretty fine, alright? Now, this is gonna work on flat. If you try to take it to the stairs, look how this is gonna look. Redonkulous, alright? This has no business. Look at his foot. This is a mistake. Now, in a situation where there's a gap, let's go to Exhibit D, where we just do a repress. We can clearly see it here. We go 90 degrees with the shoulders, leave them there, finish the rest of the rotation with the legs. Now, if you were to say that this also looks janky, I'd agree with you. Maybe he takes it a little bit too far, finishing the rotation a little too much with the feet, alright? But still, on camera, it can look much better than this, alright? And just to give ourselves a little bit of perspective, let's watch one where we just do a full rotation without any special tricks. Especially from the front. Doesn't look bad per se, but we can change it up a bit if we so choose. And now we know how. Let's take a look at the last example, all right? Let's load in just a flat ground Nollie 360, all right? This is probably, for now, the only situation in which I found it useful to use the tail slide input to finish a rotation, all right? So we only got 2 keyframes, 2 tricks to look at here. This is gonna be a quick one. Here's a normal Nollie backside 360, where the stats menu is adjusted to have just enough rotation rate to make it, all right? This is what I would consider a good looking Nollie 360, all right? And now the thing to note here is the fact that we're landing basically all 4 wheels at the same time. So we're stomping it down. And one thing that I love paying attention to detail is the fact that the shoulders and the arms sort of finish swinging around at the end. You see pros throw Nollie 360s out, just regular old 360s out, as if it was nobody's business, and I still don't understand how a 360 works on a skateboard, alright? So it's all magic to me. But I can fakey 360, and the way that I do it, I'm doing it in Nollie here on screen, is I cheat. I do about 270 of rotation, land on my back wheels, and finish the rotation in a manual. And in order to do this in the game, you do 270 degrees rotation, and you use the tail slide input. Now it has to be the correct side of tail slide, and at regular speed, filmed from the side, looks like that. You can definitely try it a few times to make it look a little bit better, a little bit less janky. But again, one thing that we do get out of this is the fact that the arms finish the rotation at the end. And that's something that's chef's kiss, all right? Why? Anyways, honestly, that's gonna be it. Those were the examples that I had in mind. I do intend to make another bunch of these videos where we cover grinds and different ways to make grinds look good. Grinds, slides, whatever, you know, hurricane, stuff like that. So what I'm about to say is genuine. I'm actually curious to know if you learned something new from this video, because I honestly believe that if I figured this stuff out, I can't be the only one, all right? So let me know, and if I make more, it'll give me a better idea about how to approach the next videos in this kind of series, all right? Pushing realism through animations. Until then, patience for your practice, as always at this point, and I'll see you in the next one.